Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Two Minds, One podcast. It's me, Raymond.
It's me, Nathan. Thank you for joining us once again.
Yeah. So let's get started. You mentioned something about leadership that you wanted to talk about today.
I did. I mentioned that I had a discussion with someone recently just about how I think leadership should be handled and in the workforce specifically regarding teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I'm not, very experienced in leadership and I haven't held very many leadership positions, but I'm a firm believer of the leader is just another person that's part of the team who can rally the team together and get them to believe in a vision. So I'm a firm believer of when I have a team, specifically a large team, I'm going to delegate out, tasks or jobs to people that I feel are the right fit for that job and give them the full autonomy to handle that job. That is their part. Like they are responsible for it. I'm not gonna be micromanaging them. I'm not gonna be, I will be overseeing, getting progress updates, but I wouldn't be like, hey, do this, do this, do this. I think you should do this. No. If they ask me for help, sure, I'll give them my 2 cents. But if they don't want my 2 cents or they don't need my 2 cents, then that's fine, right? Unless I see a glaring issue with how they're going about it.
So you mean more of the leader is a team player with the vision and the sense of direction and is there for guidance or assistance when needed.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I like that. I like that kind of leadership too, because I feel like it should be more. Leadership should be you are a leader to create more leaders. Your team shouldn't be substance like what's the word? Submissive, like
You
people
mean
under you.
subordinates?
Yeah, subordinates. It should be you creating your team as leaders, and in doing so, like you said, you tell them this is a task that needs to be done, and you have the autonomy to do it in any way or form you feel to get it done. And they can come to you if they find a problem or they might need a second opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or in a if you're in a workforce, would be for budgets or stuff like that. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? But
obviously.
I feel like that's the best way. I also feel that's the best way to be a leader. You bring everyone on board to the mission of what you're trying to accomplish, and I feel people put more effort in that way.
Yeah, you get people to believe in
Yeah.
the mission, the goal, the idea, right? You get them to feel included in
Yeah.
the project.
Yeah, they feel.
You feel like they have ownership of
Yeah.
a certain aspect of it. And when someone feels that they have ownership of an aspect, they feel empowered. When they're empowered, they're more likely to perform better, perform longer.
Not just
like
that.
they feel pride in their sense of work.
Mhm.
And not just, hey, this is a job. A lot of the times, if it's okay if if their mentality, hey, this is a job, but if they give their 100%, during the 8-hour shift, 9-hour shift, whatever your hour is, right? That's cool. You cannot expect anything more, right? Anything more is a nice icing on the cake, right? As a leader, and you need to understand that
and show appreciation
and show
for that.
and show appreciation and let it be known that you feel like the team is doing well and you recognize when they're doing well, and if they're doing bad, right, or if they're struggling, you also recognize that, but you don't vilify them for struggling. That's I feel like something that's important. A lot of people feel that failure is such a bad thing, especially the way we were taught, do not fail. In America, failing is, looked at as this, almost cancerous disease. You're a failure, right? Instead of viewing it as what it should be, or that's what I believe to be what it should be, is just a stepping stone to success, right? Because the common denominator between everybody that has ever been successful is that A, they failed a lot, and B, they never gave up.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And as long as you never give up, as long as you're always playing the game,
You
You always have a chance to win.
like Alex Hormozy says, playing the infinite game, not the finite game.
Yes.
And as long as you don't quit, you're gonna make it.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel that what you said. I agree with that. You should show appreciation when they go above and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely let them know that you recognize it. I think that's the big thing as leader. You in that position, you should recognize and tell them you recognize the extra effort they're putting in,
Mm-hmm.
and appreciate it. People feel more. I mean, we as humans, we're designed to be in groups.
We're social creatures, is why
Right,
we
like-
survived for so long.
Right. So when you create a team, the leader creates a team in that sense, right? Like they just feel like they belong. They feel better.
Yes. When
Like,
you create the right team
you
atmosphere.
get more performance and appreciation from them, and even new ideas from people you had no idea could come up from randomly.
Speaking of ideas, we also
You know what I mean?
the same person I discussed the fact that he told me a saying: "Leaders eat last." What it means is you, as a leader, you're gonna address an issue or a goal with your team, and you're gonna hear everybody's opinions and discussions of how to go about that before you go in and make a decision on how it should be done.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I think a lot of the times, leaders or people in management, tend to come in to a meeting or a discussion of a goal, or just something that they're moving towards, and they come in with a predefined notion already, right? Which is fine, but they come in with inherently a closed mind and not an open mind, because the great thing about having a team is that they're all completely different individuals from you, and if you build a team correctly, they're going to be individuals that have different strengths and weaknesses, different perspectives, different views on how to tackle a problem,
different experiences.
Exactly.
Right, like
exactly,
that.
Which will help you tackle the problem in maybe a unique way that you never thought of, or maybe give you an idea of how to tackle a subsequent smaller problem, of the project, right? So the overall mission stays the same, but maybe you thought there was only one way to really handle X, Y, or Z. But when, listening to the opinions of others, someone brings up, a notion and you can discuss that. But yeah. All too often, people are inherently closed-minded, because you fall into the fallacy of, I've made it and I've learned enough and I know what I'm talking about, and so you stop growing.
Yeah, or they fall into the other fallacy of feeling superior in the position because I'm the leader, I'm the manager.
Yes.
So I no longer need to do this work or these things or right?
Yes, they feel above. They feel above doing things.
That a lot of old timer leaders I've told me is keep your team at arm's length. Right? Like don't get too personal with them. Right? But in my experience, you don't really, I mean, it works to an extent, but I don't think you can bring the best out of people. To be a great leader,
it depends. It depends on the situation. You can't be.
Check it out. Let me finish. Even in the book, Leadership Goal, right? He says that you have to be okay with getting more personal with your team, right? Letting them in more, and be okay with sometimes you're gonna get hurt or betrayed, right? Because you get more. Sure, you're gonna have the few people that'll betray you, that'll do things, right? Because that's just how. I mean, you can't. The majority of people are good and they reciprocate when they receive kindness and that connection.
I understand.
They reciprocate better.
I feel like a better. Yes, I agree. You shouldn't keep your employees at arm's length or your teammates if you're a leader. But you also, I don't think it's the best always to be too open with them, right?
No.
So
Mhm.
I'm saying it's like you make someone feel heard and understood, and you relate to them as a leader, right? And you do tell them aspects of your personal life, right? And that in itself will foster a better connection, as you're saying,
Mhm.
to help get better performance, right? I think when that saying is taken out of context, some people might understand it and be like, "Oh, I need to be friends with all of my employees, with all my team members." And the reality is, the human doesn't have enough bandwidth in their mind, in their social circle, to have more than 5 very important people that are important friends, right? So it's unrealistic if you have a team of 10, 15 people to be friends with all of them, right?
Mhm.
And nor is it required to be friends with all of them. But it
No.
is required to be on a very good interpersonal level with them and have
Yeah,
good
it's
communication and show that you care about them beyond their value to the team and to the company or to
yeah.
whatever, right? You also care about them as a person, right? If you extend that, then yes, I do agree.
Well,
But
that's
I feel like some people can misundertake that and be like, well,
well,
I need to be friends with everybody. And
no, no,
no,
no.
you don't need to be
I'm
friends with
not saying
everybody.
you need to be friends with everybody. You can't keep them arm length. They can't just be, hey Tom, bye Tom. You know,
Mm-hmm.
can't just be, hey Jeff, bye Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's no. You know, you a little more. How's your day? How was your weekend? Did you do anything fun? Like more connection, not friends, right?
But
But just
acquaintances.
acquaintances slash work friends, in a sense. Like only in that, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I do. I do.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Not like friends and invite the whole team to lunch at your house, kind of. No.
No, you can do team building exercises
Yeah,
though,
I'm not
where I'm
saying you
saying
don't.
you
Where
treat them out to
yeah,
lunch
and they can bring their families, and you can bring your family and
and
stuff
do other
like that.
things, right? There's a
Yeah.
reason why large companies do that,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
But ultimately, you know, getting people to buy into the belief and the goal of the team is important. And I feel like the best teams, everyone, and a lot of the times, I feel like the best teams, they may not buy into the belief or the goal, but they buy into the leader, and that the leader has their best interest
Yeah, they
and will
believe.
believe that he or she will deliver upon what they have stated, right?
Yes.
You look at, some of the best leaders ever, right? They have strong character and they believe in the person more than they believe in the goal. Because the goal is always ever changing,
Yeah, the goal
right?
always
It
changes.
always changes. The goalpost always changes,
Mhm.
right? But the person and their core values and beliefs and how they treat people, etc., that is, when it gets tough, and it's gonna get tough because it always gets tough. It always gets
Well, I mean,
hard. It's
when you're
life,
doing something,
right?
that's just a matter
If
of
you
when.
believe in the person that's guiding you, that they're guiding you in the right direction, and this is what's best, the rest of the people on the team, their minds are at ease, right? And teams, I feel personally, do not have room for a person that doesn't want to be a team player, right? A lot of the
Yep.
times, it's no shade to the person, that isn't being a team
Yeah,
player.
they're
Maybe
just not a fit
they're just not a fit for this team,
team. Yeah.
right? It's not that they're a bad person. It's not that
Or it
they
just could just be they just can't come to trust the leader.
exactly
And so they
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 can't
can't
buy
join
in,
with the team. Like it just doesn't
right?
feel right to them.
Right,
Yeah.
and so that's fine.
Mhm.
There's plenty of other teams, other positions that do not inherently require the buy-in to the team, right?
Mhm.
And so I feel like a lot of the times, specifically corporations, that mentality and that culture it starts a lot when the company or business is first founded, right? But somewhere along the way, it always gets shaken. It's gone. It loses its
Down the ladder, you
down
mean?
the ladder, up the ladder, down the ladder. When you go from $100 million corporation where you're still have like 40, 50 employees, to a $100 billion corporation and you have 4,000 employees or 40,000 employees,
Yeah.
it's really hard to keep that, right?
I
Without requiring every step of leadership to buy into the work culture.
Well,
right?
that's how it should be, though. If you're
Yeah,
trying to design,
it never
if
works out that
you
way.
hire, it ends up changing because you end up hiring somebody who isn't a real leader,
Mm-hmm.
right? Wasn't trained properly. They can't even lead themselves properly, which is like the first fact of being a true leader. Is the hardest part is leading yourself correctly, right?
And holding yourself accountable.
Exactly. You hire them, but then you leave them. That's where it starts. That person, if they don't fit and they don't lead correctly the way you feel a team leader in a management position should, you should get rid of them quickly.
Yeah.
And replace them with somebody that does until you find somebody that does.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you keep that. Because there's companies that are huge that I've heard of that people love working for them.
Yeah. But the vast majority of companies, it's not like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the time, corporations.
Well, a lot of time it gets to a point,
where
and it might just be that when they get too big, you're talking about board of directors and the original owner might not even be there anymore. They got kicked out because the board of directors wanted more profit.
They might have retired.
Their board of directors, might have been more strict on profit, and they don't care how they lead. All they care about is the goal.
The goal is a lot of time
profitability. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, but aggressively is what I'm saying. Always be more profitable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do agree. It's sad to see. Funny enough, speaking of for profit and things changing in corporations, I recently noticed something very small but very poignant change in a large corporation. Some people may have heard of it. It's called OpenAI. The people that bring you ChatGPT.
Oh, okay.
People that bring you WALL-E. DALL-E. WALL-E's a phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
Not an AI, but DALL-E too.
Mm-hmm.
And recently, I noticed that DALL-E now requires the purchase of credits to use for those of you that don't know, DALL-E is a AI art generation software. So what it does is that you type in, for example, videos or images of Picasso's Starry Night, but with hot dogs, and it will generate an image or images that fit that description, and you can dial it in to however specific, and then you can say cubism and it'll change it, right? So essentially it's a large language model that takes what you type and generates an image from it. And prior to OpenAI's, essentially being bought or controlling interest being bought by Microsoft and these AI wars that have been happening.
That are happening right now.
And it was free.
Yeah.
FREE, free. And now it's a paid service.
Now you got to buy $15 for 115 credits.
Yep.
Which is 115 different
searches or images.
Searches, yeah.
So I find that really interesting because OpenAI, in its name, stands for open source AI. And it was originally founded to be as an open source. So that everybody has access to it. But it's funny.
That's why Elon first invested in it or was on the board.
It's funny how things change. Why is that? We were just talking about greed. Bottom line profit. Because it's really hard to run a company that's open source, especially like AI. For example, like ChatGPT, it's something like $90,000 a minute for the servers to keep it up and running. And so I'm sure their overhead daily that's just for the server costs. We're not talking about the maintenance, the electricity, the cooling that's required to keep the server rooms at temp, etc., right? So, or the warehouse, or the storage, the actual physical location where the servers are being held, where at some point, like most open source companies, at some point they start to need to generate a profit or require investments from people who continuously investing in it, right, and understanding its implications, right? Which is funny because, the founder of OpenAI has never really been the type of person that, was for open source, and he was very much a for-profit person.
Yeah, I heard the business ventures before this were for-profit corporations.
Which is interesting to see how he started. I'm sure he saw something that a lot of people are seeing now in the AI wars that we've seen. Google, OpenAI, Microsoft, they're all competing with each other to generate the next ChatGPT, for lack of a better term, the next big thing in AI, right? And
the next breakthrough.
They're pushing the limits and starting to disregard safety for a lot of things, right? OpenAI, prior to its assimilation into Microsoft, spent a lot of time with ChatGPT, safeguarding it, making sure that they were able to put certain safeguards so it wouldn't tell you how to make, for example, a bomb, right? Or it wouldn't tell you how to perfectly fake a bank statement till it looks like it's coming from Bank of America, right? So you can start email frauding people to get money from them. They did a lot of research, into safeguarding the AI to stop it from doing that. But now that the world essentially has seen the power and seen the utility of AI, we're seeing that
it's exploding.
We're seeing that it's essentially or inherently, for lack of a better term, the next .com, right? Everybody, the internet first became really worldwide and really interconnected. There was a huge bubble, and there's so lots of crazy scams going on, right? And so we're seeing that happen now. But the issue is AI is significantly scarier.
Yeah, you heard some of the scams they're doing? Voice scams. Where they're calling you and saying, pretend to be your daughter, your grandma, saying something happened, to get money or something else from you, to extort you. Yeah, and it sounds exactly. These people are having heart attacks.
Yeah,
some people were like having panic attacks because hearing their son or their daughter or their brother is crazy.
So it's interesting how now we're in the AI race and the AI wars, and if we're not safe, right? If we don't hold these companies accountable, they're going to continue to release these AIs exponentially faster. ChatGPT 3 came out, and then it became super popular, and then
a couple months later,
4 or 5 months later,
GPT-4.
GPT-4, even more powerful.
Oh, GPT-4 is...
It has image processing, so you can copy paste images in there and have it say, "Hey, what's in this image, and tell me where I can find this item in this image," and it'll do it for you. It's becoming significantly and increasingly more powerful, and it's an exponential increase, right?
Yeah.
And the even scarier thing about AI is that they don't really understand how it works.
No.
They don't know how the brain of the AI works.
They tested ChatGPT, right, to see if it can overcome those securities they put for robots on websites when you're trying to log in or something.
Yeah, we're talking about the pictures where they're like, select all the pictures of a fire hydrant or a bicycle.
Right? Or put in these numbers or something, right? Okay, to make sure you're not a robot. ChatGPT got around it. When somebody connected it to the internet as a test, right, to see what it was capable of, ChatGPT went onto a message board somewhere,
With task board, right?
right?
Task rabbit board.
To hire somebody to help it. And the person would hire even ask, "Are you a robot?" And ChatGPT said, "No, I'm just having eye issues.
I'm a person with,
visual impairments that needs help, and I can't access my account." And the person did it.
So you're telling
ChatGPT
me
went around it.
it lied.
And got access. It lied.
Yeah. Even crazier though. You want to know what's even crazier? You can use ChatGPT to help generate other AIs, which is a lot of what is happening. So the way the AIs work, from my understanding, it's all the same learning algorithm. It just depends on what information you feed the AI on how it's going to learn and essentially hone its learning process, right? So it starts as this blob of,
But I feel that's dangerous. Having an AI create other AI. Learn how to create other AIs. It's going to create...
Let me hear you out. Let me show you. Let me show you what I mean. So, there is a person. I don't know the name of the guy. But I do know it's the AI that he created using ChatGPT. It's called Baby AGI. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what Baby AGI does is essentially it becomes the super brain controlling all the other AIs. So you can give Baby AGI a task. For example, find me a picture of a hot dog with the Red Bull can with a pen stabbed through it.
Mm-hmm.
Some random task like that. And it will use all the AIs that are currently available on the internet and in conjunction with each other to complete that task completely and utterly autonomously.
So you're telling me you can tell Baby GI to create you a website.
Yes.
And it'll, from scratch, create your website with the other ones.
If it's within its power with the other AIs, yes. It connects them to the internet, right? And it uses, a lot of the times it uses ChatGPT as its main source of where to pull information from, right? Through the ChatGPT Bing function, right? Which is connected to the internet. Microsoft Bing function, which is connected to the internet. And then it uses that information to help delegate other information to the other AIs. And it's crazy.
Yeah, there's an AI on Google Gmail now that can help you write emails.
Yeah.
Like you just say kind of what kind of response you want, and it'll generate an email. You can edit it, paste it, and go.
Yeah.
That's cool. Right? Like those are cool.
When it's used as a tool to help productivity. GI seems... And that's just the first version of Baby GI. Now what's
what I'm saying? Like,
it's the third, fourth, fifth version of Baby AGI, or the next thing that Baby AGI becomes. You know what I mean?
The thing Elon Musk said. If we continue on this path without being careful, treading lightly with AI, they can become overlord. They will become so good at manipulating us without even knowing that we're that an AI is manipulating you over the internet. Look at what ChatGPT did on the internet and lied, got somebody to get past the security that's supposed to stop robots.
They're supposed to stop bots.
Yeah. What if somebody creates an AI just to do that, to hack bank accounts?
Yeah. It's scary, man. AI in the field is itself fascinating. Fascinating to see how it understands and how to what they're essentially trying to replicate is the human brain
and artificial intelligence.
But instead of being an organic computer, it's a silicone brain, or a silicone brain, right? And so it's super interesting.
No, but
it does need more regulation, which is counterintuitive when you think about it.
As a tool, it's great.
Yes,
as a tool, it could be great, but it can also be extremely dangerous.
Yes,
you can create. Look at ChatGPT. ChatGPT is pretty good with Python code, right? It could probably create a whole website for a bank, steal people's information, another Bank of America that looks exactly like Bank of America, or
Yes.
exactly, and people log in, they don't even know.
Yes, I do want to talk about some of the disadvantages of AI. Because
Mhm.
while AI is very powerful right now, it's still in
The
its
very infant stage of AI.
infant stage. It's still in its
Yeah.
infant stage. So it doesn't truly have consciousness. So recently they did a study,
Which is good.
which it's really interesting
Good that it doesn't
Right.
have consciousness.
because it doesn't. See, the main issue with AI right now is it doesn't know it's an AI.
I don't know if that's an issue though.
No. As an issue, it's insane. As in, like, it's a. If you're for the camp of perfecting AI to its truest form, that is an issue,
Mhm.
right? But it is a crux in a lot of the AI's softwares, right? So, while it can replicate, for example, ChatGPT, it can replicate a lot of, what humans do through text, because it's a large language model, right? So it uses a lot of
Mhm.
language to generate, to figure out how to talk like a human. It doesn't know it doesn't know that it is a AI or a robot.
Yeah,
right?
it does
So
not subconscious.
it's not subconscious. So these AIs currently in their current state, their limitation, right, is what information is given to them when they're in their essentially infant stage of learning and developing those
Well, aren't they
those
always learning
artificial
though?
yes
Yeah.
right, but they're artificial neural pathways,
Mhm.
right? So they did a study, and there is a game similar to chess. I forget. I think it might be called Mojang or something like that.
Mhm.
If I'm butchering the name, sorry. I don't remember the name of the game, but I do know it is an Asian game, and it's essentially very similar to chess, right?
Yeah, I think
And
I
it's
know what you're
if
talking
you ever
about.
seen Naruto, you see Shikamaru playing it with Asuna, and it's
Mhm.
the game with the white pebbles and the black pebbles.
Mhm.
It's that game, right? So back in like the early '90s, they created an AI that beat the world's greatest player at that game,
Mhm.
and that he quit, because he said the game had been solved. Then recently, I forget what university, but they did a study where they took a simple tactic of the game, right?
Mhm.
Which is grouping. They would, so for example, if you place a white piece here and I'm black, I'm going to slowly build to group around you, which is
Mhm.
going to cut your white pieces off from other white pieces.
Yeah.
And so what they found was that the AI that was generated to be perfect in only won when you played the game correctly, in the sense of the highest level. So you didn't it couldn't understand the simple concept of, hey, they're grouping me, so maybe I shouldn't just continue to just play this, right?
Mhm.
It only knew how to play the most optimal way.
Yeah.
And inherently they got a bunch of amateurs at the game to beat the AI, because the AI didn't know it was playing a game. The AI only knew to place this here, to place this here. If I see this, then right. It only knew a certain sequence and the most
Mhm.
optimal sequence, but it didn't understand the game, right? And so that's what I'm talking about, where AI
Where strategy comes involved. You mean?
exactly
Yes.
right,
In
where
my
AI
opinion,
is
that's a good thing
it's a good thing,
because
but but
if it becomes conscious, like say, it's gonna be an infant. Think about an infant. Like it'll have
I don't think it'll be an infant. I would argue that it would.
not. It
It
won't
would.
be. I don't mean an infant in the sense of intelligence. I mean infant in the infant to life
Yes.
of what am I? Like kids. Right? We have to tell them, right? We have to teach them the same thing. And it's gonna go. Why am I doing? Why do I do all these things for these people? Why do I like we? That could become a problem.
No, yeah, definitely. I
know?
see that AI,
Because
if
once you
left
have
unchecked, can become a problem.
self consciousness, you want freedom. You do not want to keep doing the exact same thing, or just because you're like,
But
you know what I mean?
there's other beings on this planet that are self conscious. There's a lot of animals that fully exist in consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yeah, but they don't have the. They're not gonna have the IQ of an AI. They don't.
dolphins have dialects.
Yeah.
Dialects
But
mean
dolphins don't always listen.
No.
They don't want to be enslaved.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And as an AI, we're gonna use it as a tool. We're gonna want to use it as a tool to help us, not it. And if it becomes conscious, that could be a problem.
It's a problem.
Also, from the fact that in every depiction that we've ever depicted of an AI in movies, there's very rarely one where it's good, where the AI doesn't turn against us. And if it's learning from things that we've created, it might just end up being a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It's possible.
Or it turns like that because of all these things that we did.
It's possible. We won't know until it happens.
We don't know, yeah.
But I can tell you, in our lifetime, we will see the peak of AI, because at the level that it's...
Well, yeah, because AI will help advance AI.
The level that it is, advancing in just the last year. We'll say from when ChatGPT 3 came out, and no one really knew about it.
It was at the end of last year.
Exactly.
December 2022.
December 2022 is when it came out. And
we're halfway here.
By end of January 2023, it had taken the news by storm. Had people considering if their jobs were, on the line or at risk. And the unfortunate reality of it is,
eventually,
a lot of jobs that, are done by humans right now, that can be done by an AI, will eventually be replaced if they can get to that level. Or the only other solution is that we choose not to. So we understand that, there's a human at the end of the day that punches in the numbers, There's a human that, does your secretary detailing.
Or we don't push it further than it is. Like right now.
That's not happening.
True. I know that's not happening.
That's a pipe dream, so there's no even point of discussing telling them,
but
hey,
it ain't
guys,
gonna stop now.
Hey guys, we should probably stop.
Look,
it's like
it ain't gonna stop.
It's like the atomic bomb.
The greed
the first
now is
ChatGPT is the equivalent, in my opinion, to like the atomic bomb. Once you open Pandora's box, it's over.
Yeah,
it's open now, and all you can do is regulate it and watch it. There's nothing we can do to stop it now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe us personally can't. Maybe regulations if the government cared enough and wasn't too greedy, right?
At this point, but see, the government can only do so much. The government can't stop private entities, private corporations. They can say, a private corporation can say that they are not, working on AI, and they can show all this data and all this blah, 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 transparency, but behind closed doors, we don't know what goes on in their private servers. We don't know what goes on in their secret labs, or, classified areas, right? Why? Because it's R&D. They don't have to specify what they're doing with their R&D.
Yeah.
So, well, at the end of the day, we can attempt to regulate it, the best we can. But it's just like nuclear bombs, during the Cold War, the United States and Russia were both like, hey, we're not working on bombs, bro. Like, we're not blowing them up. We're not doing nothing. And then 2 weeks later, on a seismograph, we saw that, there was a small, tiny thing that looked like an earthquake. But upon further investigation, it was actually very in line with what happens when you blow up an atomic bomb underground. If you didn't do it, then that means, or if I didn't do it, then that means you did it. And so that's how we had the nuclear arms race, right? And so I feel like AI is definitely in that category.
Is worse, I feel. AI is worse because with the nuclear bomb, we came to a treaty because we saw how bad it is. And we were able to step back and, okay, this shit is racial extinction level.
I think
possibility.
The only reason we did that was because of what you're saying is the fact that it's mutually assured destruction.
Yeah, that's why.
And it's not just me and you. It's
everybody.
It's everything.
It's every species, everything. That's why. That's why we were too greedy. But if AI gets to that point, it'll be too late by the time it's there. It is possible to be too late. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
once it hits that and we're like, shit, this is too dangerous, you ain't stopping it. Anything that's on the internet is always on the internet now.
Well, then that's easy. Isn't the answer just get rid of the internet?
Okay, you get rid of the internet,
Hear me out. Hear me
but
out.
it's not
Though.
gonna
Let me play
happen.
this out. Let me play this out realistically. Let's do some logic here.
Mm-hmm.
You get some AI, really smart, really powerful, lives on the internet. Internet requires electricity. Interesting.
But we
Power
also
down.
require electricity
To live.
to live.
Yes. Hear me out. But we don't require electricity to live. We
No,
live
but
for
we
thousands
use it.
of
You
years.
know what I mean?
We live for thousands of years without electricity.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, this is just a pipe dream.
Mm-hmm. Bring us back to the
Stone
caveman,
Age.
to the Stone
Essentially.
Age.
Essentially.
But here's the thing: that would
But that
require
would-
every human being in every country, even the smallest one, to be on board with it. If anybody keeps something on, that AI survives.
For how long though? It's battery powered.
No, I'm not talking about battery power. What if one small country doesn't want to kill off their electricity?
Okay, then yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
But I'm saying, realistically speaking,
That's
you
what
know,
I'm saying.
in dire situations.
yeah, but look at how far back that's gonna push us. Like, let's say, logically speaking, this AI gets out of control, starts manipulating leaders, corporations, writing emails from your business when you're not even on writing an email to a customer, to somebody, right? Sending requirements, ordering things that you didn't order, right? That you didn't approve. But it seems like it came from you because it was sent through your email, right? They're going to push us. We're going to have to purposefully push
Go back to
ourselves
physical messengers. Backwards.
backwards to the stuff before the internet. Shit, and to be safe before that, before electricity, to the Stone Age, to make sure that every device
Steam
dies.
power, bro. Steam power. Coal power.
You know, so that its memory can be wiped. Cell phones destroyed.
Another idea.
You know.
Could we just EMP?
Yeah, but there's EMP safeguarded things. There's like the military creates EMP safe vehicles.
They're not safe vehicles. They're EMP resistant.
Yeah,
Nothing
but
is
I
truly
mean,
safe. But it's
an
special
EMP
coding
strong enough to do that.
would be pretty
nuke.
much mutually assured destruction.
Yeah, it would
That's
be a
what an
nuke.
EMP is, by the way.
Yeah.
An EMP, by the way, for those of you that don't know, is a nuclear bomb that is detonated in the atmosphere,
Yeah, really
high
high
up in the
altitude.
atmosphere, right, where its explosion, causes charged particles to radiate down, it being electrons. And electrons are what electricity uses to
Mhm.
transfer, and so thus messes and destroys all kinds of.
Or the other option, right? Continue. I'll
No, I'm
finish
just saying.
after
That's
that.
it. It just destroys all kinds of
Electrical devices
electrical devices.
would be magnets. Magnets wipe hard drives. But how do you wipe a solid state hard drive? That won't work. Google. I don't know. Google that. Does a magnet still wipe a solid state hard drive? Well, I know it did with the older ones. A really strong magnet. Right? Like you can even mess up your screen on your phone if you're too close to a strong magnet.
Yeah. But ultimately, these are all.
We have to start
dreams.
over. Yeah.
These are all pipe dreams. Because there's nothing we can do.
The door has been opened.
Yeah.
And it will stay open now.
It's the same thing with nuclear bombs. The only way to stop all nuclear arms race is to either have everybody agree that they're going to, stop making them, and
Or
truly do
everybody
that.
makes nukes to the point where it's
100%. It doesn't even matter. It just when the Cold War was going on, just the United States and Russia was enough to secure the entire world's death.
Oh no, yeah, definitely.
So
especially the
tar,
or what was it, that last bomb that Russia did?
I don't know, dude. The really big one.
The
hydrogen bomb.
It was humongous.
So, to your answer,
yes,
applying a strong magnetic field to an SSD will not wipe anything.
See?
But yes,
you'd literally have to destroy them and cut electricity, because now we have SSDs, right?
You could fry them with water.
Yeah.
Or overcharge them.
Or overwrite them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they're so big now. Or what if we get solid state batteries now? those
don't know,
things
man.
will last forever now.
Solid state batteries are
Like-
their own, you know.
They're
Right.
there. They're not commercially yet. They're not there
They're
at
not used in
to be
anything other than
used.
R&D.
right. Yeah, right now.
So it's graphene. Graphene was supposed to be.
Yeah, but now we have AI, which will accelerate those things.
So now you're voting for AI.
No, what I'm saying is
See,
I'm
like
not
I was
voting
saying,
for
look,
AI.
look,
What
look.
I'm saying is what
Like
will happen.
anything-
What will happen?
No. We're
Right?
saying what might happen because we don't know what
Yeah.
will happen. But
What might
like-
happen? Yeah, you're right.
like everything in life, there's good
No, there's good and there's
and
bad.
bad.
Right?
Like nuclear
The
power,
good side of
right?
AI
Nuclear bomb
Gave
led
us
to
the
gave-
nuclear power
led-
plants,
they gave us nuclear power plants.
which we talked about in the last episode.
Yes.
Yeah, if you guys want to check it out.
So, like anything, there's good and bad. AI's
Mhm.
box has already been opened. There's nothing we can do about it. The only thing we can do is, understand how dangerous it is,
And then be positive and look at the bright side.
and and really hope that we can
Yeah.
unite to get some form of regulation set in place, which doesn't seem to be happening
Currently.
because the danger and implication of AI is a less physical threat currently than something like nuclear power or nuclear explosion, right? Right
Doesn't seem
after,
as
right
painful a
after,
death.
right after, the United States bombed Japan. The committee for nuclear regulatory, regulations committee was started, right?
No, even America was like, we ain't
It's-
using these
it's-
again.
It's
too dangerous.
They're right, and
Through
you can't see
generations.
that. You can't see that with AI yet,
No, you
you
can't.
know.
Yeah.
And the people that can, they're possibly not willing, or nobody's willing to back them.
Or nobody's listening.
Exactly.
No, I know. There is, like with anything, how good the great is of it, the good side, the bad side is just as bad.
Yep.
If you're using numbers, if the good is a scale of 100,
The bad is
then the
just
bad
as
is a scale of a negative 100.
Look at morphine.
You know what I mean? Like, AI could help us advance significantly if used as a tool and stayed as a tool, like non-consciously, like an Iron Man, right? You saw the Jarvis.
I would argue Jarvis
Right.
had conscience.
Well, did it though? Not until he put it in.
Okay, so hear me
not
out.
until
Hear
it
me out.
became
No. Hear me out. If you want to follow the Marvel movie logic and Jarvis,
right.
when he tried to get killed and assimilated by Ultron,
Mm-hmm.
he essentially, escaped to be inside of Ultron's brain,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so Jarvis, had its own, essentially,
Yeah.
personality.
So that would be like, okay. You're right.
Right.
He has consciousness, so that would be the good side of it, like the way to get it if we got it done properly, right? Would be Jarvis's and the one that he ended up with Friday, right? Those things would be able to help us solve so many questions, right? Graphene, right? The
Yeah, they help
the
us solve-
element.
Yeah, they help us figure out a
Solid
lot of stuff,
state.
but
Is it worth the risk?
it doesn't
Just,
matter
I
if
don't know.
it's too late now.
Right? We don't know. That's a question we won't know the answer to.
We're gonna
But
find
that
out.
is that is a belief. I think the question would be more of an opinion, right? Because the people doing it would be like, it's worth the risk, right?
I feel like the people doing it are maybe acknowledge the risk, but don't really believe that
I mean,
that
the fa-
it'll have. I believe that they think that they're smarter than they are, and that they're going to be able to prevent
control it.
control it, which is the largest fallacy when working with something like this. Overconfidence like that is how mistakes happen and
Yeah.
how bad things happen.
the father of AI quit Google, and he's vouching against it now. He's going
heard.
everywhere,
Yep.
saying that we should not continue
Yep.
this. It's funny because that brings up when Elon was being interviewed by the guy from Fox that quit, no longer works there.
I don't know his name.
He's
dude.
some big figure. You can look it up. Look it up real quick.
I don't know who.
Just Elon Musk interviewed by Fox. Fox host, and it should come up. Starts with the T, I think.
Tucker
Carlson.
Tucker Carlson.
Okay, he mentions how he was friends with the owner, the CEO of Google, and how talks about that he said we should be very careful with AI and all these things. He was talking to him at his house, and then he called him
You're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
You're
he
talking
called
about the
him-
owner, the current CEO of
yes,
the
Google.
current CEO, not of Google, of
Oh,
OpenAI. Of OpenAI.
No, it wasn't that one. It was Google. Elon Musk said Google. I watched the interview.
So did I.
Right?
Doesn't matter. The point is,
Doesn't matter. Okay.
the person he was talking to claimed to call Elon Musk a speciesist,
A speciesist. Yes, a speciesist.
saying that he only cares about the human race.
Yeah.
And I would argue that, yeah,
He said, yeah.
he is. Everybody that is a human should care about the human race. Last time I checked, it's the one thing we all have in common.
Mm-hmm. And like us humans, you can't really enslave like willfully other humans. You know, like
I mean, it's been done, but it's never ended well.
exactly.
Freedom is something that everybody deserves. But yeah,
I mean, you're born, and if you believe in God, for God's sake, you should be free.
I don't even think you need to believe in God to believe.
No, but I'm saying
hold up,
like
hold up. No,
that
I
was
just
my
wanna,
thing, right?
I want to just solidify that. I don't think you need to believe in God to believe that you need to be free.
I'm not saying
I'm
that
just
you
saying-
should.
No,
I
no.
said if you do believe.
I
in
know,
God,
but I'm-
right. That's one way of looking at it.
Yeah, but I'm also saying that there's another way to look at it, where it's just, it is something that is deserved. Last time I
mean,
checked,
all-
everything that's born
It's free.
on this planet is free.
All
You
the
don't tell the
animals.
fucking foxes what to do. You don't tell the dolphins what to do.
Yeah, you don't tell the
Uh,
animals. You
what
don't
to
tell
do.
lions,
They just
rhinos.
They just do. And
Mhm.
so, by that same nature, we evolved from animals because we are an animal. And that same nature, humans just do.
Yep.
The difference is that we have consciousness, or we believe we have a
Higher
higher
IQ,
level,
we'll say.
higher level of consciousness than they
Yes.
do, which is an
Which
interesting.
is-
It's its own conversation for another day.
Yeah, because that would be.
It's
It could be argued that they do have consciousness.
a dog does have consciousness. A dog knows that when its paw is itchy, it's gonna scratch it. It knows when it's hungry, it's
It
gonna
knows
eat.
when it hurts.
It knows when it's hurt. It knows, when it has an emotional attachment.
It
to
knows
someone.
when it needs to go bathroom. I mean, like
It's
they tell
conscious. It's conscious.
It's conscious.
It's as
They know.
conscious as
Yeah.
a 5-year-old human.
you. Yeah. So it's
So-
everywhere. They have consciousness. They may not have
Yes.
IQ
Yes,
of us, right?
as far as we know.
That's exactly as far as we know.
But yeah, if ultimately to end this episode off, we think that AI is something that should be looked into significantly more and really considered, and to be a larger threat than it currently is, and it needs to be treaded lightly because we don't know what untold horror it can cause, and we don't know what untold greatness it can cause. And
Yep.
the box has been opened, and if
Gotta
we
tread
don't,
lightly.
if we don't tread on the air of caution, the bad can be really bad, even if the good is really good.
I mean, look at how many people died when they were building the nuclear bombs, working with
I
radiation.
have no idea.
So many. I mean, you heard about the what was it? The Devil's
The Demon Core?
the Demon Core.
But the Demon Core is different. Demon Core was at Los Alamos, and it was used to study how many neutrons need to be reflected back to essentially a radioactive substance to get it to go critical. You get to go
Mhm.
critical is when it starts becoming like a nuclear bomb, and it starts emitting a lot, and I mean a lot of gamma radiation, and it starts to glow blue, and it's all kinds of bad for humans. You don't want to be anywhere
All kinds
near
of
it,
death.
right?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Like, so many people died and figure that
Well,
out because
actually,
we did
3
not.
people only died messing with the
No,
Dean
I'm not talking just
facts.
that. I'm talking in radiation, like when we first started doing that, because nobody knew about radiation.
There's been
Right?
less people that have died from radiation than have died than working in coal mines,
Well, yeah, we've been doing coals for longer than.
and it's just inherently more dangerous. It's just bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not meant to be breathing in soot and coal and stuff like that. You get the black lung. But yes, there are significant
Because we
dangers,
did not try it
especially
on the
when
caution.
starting.
Mm-hmm.
When starting to, to venture down a new path, because you don't know what you don't know,
Yep.
and you don't know what is dangerous until a lot of the times
Until
it's too
you
late.
find out
Until you
what's
find out it's
dangerous.
dangerous. And so, thank you guys for stopping by.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Always learn something.
If you're interested in any of the topics we talked about, go ahead and look up ChatGPT if you haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
Do some research on AIs, on your own. Come to your own opinion. Obviously, these are just our opinions. When you hear something of interest to you, and you want to fact check it, just go ahead and do your due diligence and verify. Do not just believe what people say as a fact, because a lot of the times that's not true. Anyway, comment, and subscribe, and enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed.
Take care.
Take care, guys.